Good morning, everyone. I am Jeremie A. Uyat from BsEd Social Studies, and for today, I will going to discuss to you the political culture in United Kingdom. So let me present my presentation. So first, they have this what do we call the tradition, wherein a political history that followed two enduring political customs. Like for example, going back in 1215, the Magna Carta. It was issued in June 1215 and was the first document to put into writing. So the principle that the king and his government was not above the law. It sought to prevent the king from exploiting his power and place limits of royal authority by establishing law as a power in itself. So they have the fact that they have also House of Lords. Then they have also this what do we call the English rights or the English Bill of Rights, wherein it was signed into law in 1689 by William III and Mary II, who became co-rulers in England. So the bill outlined specific constitutional and civil rights and ultimately gave Parliament power over the monarchy. So they have a long and proud tradition of a limited government and rule of law. So next we have this what we call the gradualism. So slow reforms instead of violent revolutions. The idea wherein the country doesn't have the revolution but slow reform. So unlike on what happened during the French Revolution. So it was indeed a bloody revolution. um, the slow reforms throughout the history of United Kingdom wherein the king has agreed to give up a little bit of power to the parliament slowly but surely to the point that the UK doesn't have absolute monarchy anymore. So they have constitutional monarchy even though they don't have a formal written constitution. So next is the constitutionalism, rule of law and limitations put on the power of the government. So since UK is considered as a constitutional monarchy. So this means that the constitution is found several sources, acts of parliament, common law, treaties and conventions, and European Union law. So it is thus not held in a single instrument, which is why it is factually an uncodified constitution. So next they have the tradition of self-rule. Since United Kingdom is an island nation with strong sense of sovereignty. They were a self-governing colony with an elected government in which elected rulers were able to make most decisions without referring to the colonial power with the nominal control of the colony. So most self-governing colonies had responsible government. Next is the idea of consensus. So, unified people to work towards the common good of the country of its citizens. So, even if you are a wealthy or a duke, a lord, you are willing to contribute or give over to the people who are less fortunate, and it's considered an obligation or nobles oblige. Their obligation to take care of the common people. So next, let's proceed on its social cleavages. So for much British history is based on their more multinational identities and religion. So most people consider themselves as a member of nation in which they live. So like for example, the Scotland, the Northern Land, the Ireland, Northern Ireland, the Wales, and England. So people consider themselves English, Scottish, Welsh, and Northern Irish. So that's why there has been a devolution of power from London, from Parliament to the local governments of the different nations that make late the United Kingdom. So the Scotland has the strong national identity which have a 7.9%, while the Northern Irish has the lowest which is a 2.7%. Now let's proceed on its religion. So we have the Catholics, mostly were Irish people, versus the Protestants, mostly Scottish or English. So primarily before 1998, we're in the Good Friday Agreement, wherein the Britain agreed to give a Northern Ireland a regional government in which all of the parties would be represented on a proportional basis. So basically, it is an example of devolution or giving power over to a local governments. So that's all for my report. Thank you for listening and God bless.